Hi, folks, and welcome to another edition of Shop Talk Parks Flow. I'm Nikki Thomas, licensed associate real estate broker with the Corcoran Group, and I am super excited to have the owners of Black Cat Wines here with me today. Hello, would you folks introduce yourself right quick?
Hi, I'm Rocky.
I'm Katie.
Yep.
Rocky and Katie, yay! All right, thanks for taking the time, Rocky and Katie. All right, so as is evident in the name, Black Cat Wines, y'all sell some wine.
Sure do.
But tell me about what differentiates Black Cat Wines from the other wine shops that we might find in the community, and really
From the 600,000 other wine shops in New York City. We're now 6 months in, but our whole goal with this shop was kind of highlighting, natural wines are like sustainable, small production kind of wines, not the stuff you're going to find at like your bulletproof liquor store, but also highlighting minority owned, women owned, Black owned, whatever else, like just the people that don't normally, get put on the shelves and get talked about. That's kind of our spiel.
That's awesome. So, and I guess kind of this already loops into my next question, why wine and why a wine shop? So you kind of included part of that reason in your answer just now about wanting to feature people who otherwise wouldn't get a chance, but kind of tell us a little bit more about why that's so important to you.
Yeah.
Well, I think we both really love wine. Wine is a lot of fun. And I think that people take it way too seriously. And I've worked in wine a little bit. Well, I guess I worked in wine maybe like
10 years.
10 years. I guess it was a little like 10 years before I met Katie at the shop that we both worked at. And we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, I would really like to own a wine shop one day. And she was like, so do I. And so it kind of went from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, for Rocky, she spent a lot of time working in HR. And when you're working long hours in HR, you're drinking a lot of wine, right?
Yeah.
I come from a total food and beverage background. I've worked in kitchens, front of house, like GM restaurants for my entire adult life. And so once I hit my 30s, I was like, opening a bar sounds like a lot of work.
Long hours, no thanks.
Yeah. So I started working at a wine shop for the first time. And, you close at 10, maybe 11 o'clock. You get to go home. And that's where we met. And I was like, man, this is the life.
We can do this.
So you two are actually partners in more than one set.
We're actually not, which is
okay. Not okay. What?
Everybody thinks so, and we're just like,
You should see when I took
I've
Rocky.
been married for 24 years.
When I take Rocky with me to a gay bar, everybody's like, "You guys a couple?" We're like, "No."
No, we're not. So, yeah, no. And Katie's been with her girlfriend,
for 3 years now. Yeah,
years. Yeah, I've been married to my husband.
Have that one thing.
Yeah.
You're just so sick with each other that's and I guess for, maybe for most other people, we're just not accustomed to seeing folks have that in sync of a friendship. We go of
best friends.
Yeah, right.
but being such close friends as the two of you obviously are, how do you feel that plays into you folks running the shop together? Because, there's doing things with friends.
Yes.
That goes left.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works.
It works.
And
We do get annoyed with each other.
yeah, absolutely. It's the way you do
But
it,
it's
Eddie.
just like, okay, that was annoying, and whatever. We move on. But
Right. And I'm currently in between, shout out to Corcoran if they want to help me out. I'm in between apartments right now. So we're actually living together right now.
So she stays with me and Ron during the week when we're working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we, live, breathe, eat every meal together. And it's, I mean, I will say I have nothing as huge as this or as important as this, but like I have had small businesses or like tried to start businesses with both very, very good friends and also a like romantic partner. And both times it did not work out for all the reasons you think it wouldn't. And I don't know if it's because like we met through work that it like we knew we had a good working relationship from the start. Like maybe that's why it works. And it wasn't just like, oh, we're besties, let's open a business. Like, it's like we've become friends through work. So I guess we just knew like, yeah.
And it's come hard.
Yeah, it's not. I think we do really well.
Yeah.
So if we fight, and then we get over it.
Then we
You know,
over it.
like
And 2 minutes later, we're like, yeah, all right.
2 minutes later, we're like, what's for lunch?
All right.
I could totally see that though, because if you got to know each other through work, then you understand each other's work professional styles, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're someone who like you're best friends with someone, you haven't experienced them in like a sales environment.
Yeah.
Make on Yeah. So that makes sense. All right. So circling back to wine. And you always have a little bit about it that maybe people kind of take wine a little bit too seriously. You know, what some things that you wish people understood or knew about wine, like especially whether that be when it comes to selecting it, tasting it, pairing it, like that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think a big thing, you know, because we're dealing with all of your different kind of wine drinkers every day, right? Like somebody who's just like, I only drink Pinot Grigio and that's what I do. People who like come and want to try new things, people, you know, whatever, like people are open to it or not. But the one big resounding thing is people like apologize for not, I mean, either they insist they know everything about wine or they like apologize. They're like, you know, if you're like, oh, what are you in the mood for? They're like, I don't know anything about wine. It's like, that's not, I'm not asking you a wine. I'm just asking, what are you in the mood for? What are you feeling? What do you like?
Yeah.
What do you want to taste? What's your favorite fruit? What's your favorite, like, you know, like, do you like warheads? Do you like sour things? Do you like, you know, like wine doesn't have to be like, if you know,
We don't care.
yeah,
If you tell me I love sweet wine,
great.
right on.
Yeah.
Like I feel like more people should be more bold in their choices and say what they like.
Yeah.
Especially if they're new to wine.
Yeah.
I think people have
People are afraid if they
a
don't
real
speak-
stigma
Yeah.
about being like, oh, I like sweet wine if they're new to wine.
That's also true. Yeah.
Of course they do. They've been drinking soda. They've been
Yeah.
drinking fruit juice. It's sweet.
Yeah.
So that's what you're gonna like
Yeah.
right away.
And I think people are afraid
Everybody
if they
likes
don't speak the language,
But
they can't drink the wine.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, if I don't have the words to describe, like, you're like, do you want crisp? They're like, I don't know what that means. It's like, that's cool. Let's bring it down even more. Like, let's, you know, and people, I think that makes people nervous. You know, when you don't know about something, you feel nervous. And that's like part of our goal is to just be like, this is a safe space. Yeah. Like, we're not some like old white dudes walking around with our little like sommelier pins being like, oh, you want to drink that? Like, but we don't care. We all want to drink wine. We're all trying to get to the same place.
And we do tastings. We try to do tastings every Friday from 6 to 8. And it's great the reactions we get. Some people are so excited to try, and some people are like, oh no, I don't want to. And I think it's just like an instinctive, like, no, I'm not going to try. But we're like, you don't have to like it. You don't have to buy it.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to finish your little sip.
It's open. Like, try it. You never know what you're going to end up liking. And so some people do try and they're like, oh, wow, I would have never thought I would have liked that. And it's like,
well, yeah, because especially because we have this more like natural wine focus. I don't know if you're familiar with natural wines. I feel like it's kind of, there's almost like stigma behind natural wine where people are like, natural means weird and funky. And it's like, no, it doesn't. But it can also mean that like, yeah, sometimes because the whole idea is you're like, not doing it's like low intervention wines. You're like letting it do its thing. Sometimes, you know, so like skin contact wines, people like orange wine. What's that? That's so weird. So we like try with our tastings, especially to have these wines that like maybe people wouldn't normally try, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it sounds like folks are bigger, like making sure that people aren't so intimidated by wine that you're
yes. I mean, that's not fun.
That is just another thing for people to enjoy in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's great because it really, and especially as they like New York, right? Like one of the great food cities. It makes sense that people, basically anything that you're interested in can be taken to another level. Like, I think the term is, in Japanese, it's like maybe called otaku. Like literally any and everything and you would be interested in, you can take it into the next level. And so you can do that with wine. But I think that maybe people sometimes think that that's how it always has to be on it. It's like, no, you can just drink what you want to drink and like what you want to like.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
People should do that.
So how did you folks end up in the Parks of Guanas here? Was this an area that you already had your sights on and you were just looking for the right or right came along?
Interesting. It was not even really on our radar. We were really looking. So like we had a pop-up for about a year in Prospect Heights.
Okay.
And like we love Prospect Heights. We love Bed-Stuy. We love Clinton Hill. Like we were kind of, that area was more like, we know what the communities are like. We know what people drink. Yeah, I lived there. She lives in Clinton Hill. And we worked in Bed-Stuy. Like we both, we know that really well. And so we were looking for a while. I don't know if you know, but real estate's really hard. It's also, it's getting a liquor license right now is also really
very difficult.
So we kind of narrowed it down to, after like looking at a lot of spaces and talking to a lawyer, figuring out all this stuff. We were like, maybe our best option is to find a shop that is basically, that was a shop, had a license, and is basically selling the license and the lease. And we were like, sort of like whatever, that kind of thing. And so we like had a couple, like at Bed-Stuy, we had a couple little like, oh, maybe this is going to work, whatever. And it was like one too many things just kind of fell through that we were like, is this it? Are we done? Like, are we not, should we? And I was like, I'm just going to go, there's like a website that has, commercial spaces listed. And I was like, I'm just going to do a whole search for all of Brooklyn. Let's just see what's up. And we found this space, and it didn't disclose the exact location, but it had like the price and like vaguely about it. And I was like, I'm just going to email the guy. He called me 10 minutes later
Right away.
and was like, what's up? Like, who are you? Let me tell you about my space. And he like had such, and this is the previous owner of this location or of this spot. And he had such a good vibe. He like immediately was like, I want to meet you guys. Like, come by. So we came and saw the shop that was, so it was a wine shop here previously, which I'm sure you know. And we were like, yeah, this neighborhood. And I was, both of us were like, oh,
Signs
like
was great.
Breeze is here. Insa is here. Like we like knew, I was like, I used to party at that warehouse. Like, we're like, we vaguely know this neighborhood. We're like, and the price was right. We were like, I don't know. Let's just do it. Like it was very much like one discussion of us both being like, are we doing Park Slope? Go on. Like, is this?
Yeah. And he was super sweet too. I think it really worked out.
I think,
he had a lot of offers, but we were first time wine shop owners or going to be trying to be. And
so he had like cash offers, and he was like, I like you guys better. We were like,
we were like, yay.
That's right. It was just met. It just like, And now we're
fortunate.
We're, even before we opened, we had the space for like 2 months, where we were kind of like, working on the inside, repainting the outside, and just like, around. And people were stopping by every single day, being like, when do you open? Like, we're so excited to have you. Like, we're like, oh my God, this is.
And it was really fun. Bringing into it so cute because, like, clearly we weren't open. We have the stuff on the windows, but they just opened the door. Are you open? We're like, no. But it was funny, and they just came right back when we opened, and we opened right before dry January.
Yes.
But it still worked out.
It did.
It's been working out.
It hasn't worked out. We like, the neighborhood has really grown on us. Like it feels like every day, we have so many of our regulars, but then every day we get new people who are like, oh my God, like, when did you open? Or I've been meaning to come, or like, my friend lives down the street and told me about you. Like, it's just like, it feels like a good neighborhood spot. And that's like, that's what we wanted, like,
Just an easy place.
somewhere that we're happy to come and spend literally all day at.
I do have to say your signage is so cute. Like the cat, like the
We both have black cats.
We do. Yes, we both have black cats. No,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. I call those mini panthers
Yes.
as they go
Really-
skulking about the home
They think
causing
they are.
chaos.
Yeah.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you. I know actually one of the things I think is kind of hilarious about stuff, because when you talked about how you purchased it, from the previous owner and certain things were included and that made the deal easier. I guess apparently a prior employee was kind of included as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was. We inherited her, and she talk about a neighborhood gem. The neighborhood is obsessed with her.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
And she's been at this through
Three different
three
owners.
different owners. She's been
at this location for like 7 years.
it's crazy, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
I think I was joking with her just the other day. I was like, so I guess you're basically tied to the property. You now
Yeah. It's in the lease.
Yeah. And that was the big question when everybody would pop through the door when we weren't open, and they're like, you're gonna have Star, right?
Yeah, Star's still
Star's still there, right? And we were like, yes. Yes.
I know. Who knows what would have happened to us if we had
I know, right?
let me listen.
blacklisted.
There's a concept in law when because I used to be an attorney before I was a real estate agent. And one of the concepts that I can remember from law school is the idea of will when selling a business. And you basically
Yes, exactly.
well, this has been so much fun. I had a feeling it was going to be a fun interview, and I'm nipped into the shop myself when you folks, a few months after you folks first opened. But can you give folks the address as well as your Instagram handle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at 252 4th Avenue. So between Carroll and President. And our Instagram handle is just Black Cat Wines BK. Or no, it's just Black Cat Wines. Our website is blackcatwinesbk.com.
But our Instagram is just Black Cat Wines. Like, what do we do?
Where am I?
Yeah, what's happening?
Listen, that heat's cranking up. So I mean,
I know, it's true.
That's true. We got the AC pumping.
exactly. But still, the sun can fry the brain. So whoever knows what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Rocky and Katie.
Thank you.
Yes, this is so nice.
And yes, folks, please go check them out. Check out what they have to offer. They really do have some great wines in there. I actually just really made me keep stocking a couple of white stuff. But anyway, so yes.
We're here.
All right. Thanks again, folks. And yes, no, it was really wonderful, John. This is fun.
It was so good to talk to you.
All right. And thank you all out there for tuning in for this edition of Shop Talk Park Soap. I'm Nikki Thomas, licensed associate. And thank you all next time. I'll see you folks.
See you later.
See you.
Bye.